Hi guys, how you doing? John here with Ready Player Movies and welcome back to a brand new video. So, we are really pushing on with this now. We're through to the E's now. We've gotten rid of the numbers A's, B's, C's and D's. Now we are going into the E's, but we're not just going into the E's. There's 3 letters in this that we're going to be covering, so there's quite a few here. I'm going to try and keep this one short because the last one run for a little bit too long for my liking, so I'm going to push through this one and keep it to a 20 minutes if I can. Hopefully I can do it. So without further ado guys, let's get into this and start with the letter E. Okay, right then. So starting off with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena in End of Watch. This is a cop thriller that I really like. It's filmed like it's filmed it from a first person perspective. It's really good. It's really good, and it's basically just it basically focuses on these two just being out on the beat in a day's work. Basically, really good film, thoroughly enjoyable. Next, we have the Spielberg classic E.T., which stars hang on, Dee Wallace, Peter Coyote, Drew Barrymore, and Henry Thomas. Such a lovely, heartwarming film. It's really good. It's very clever, very family friendly. Yeah, really good, very good film. Been quite a while since I've seen it actually. Next we have The Exorcist from oh god, who's the author? William Friedkin. No, William Peter Blatty's novel, directed by William Friedkin. Very good film, but by today's standards, it's not quite as harrowing as it was when it first came out. Basically, because it's just keeping up. It doesn't quite. It doesn't quite come with the times now. So it's kind of now with my generation and below, it's kind of seen as quite a unfortunately, and dare I say, it's quite a hammy looking film, given the fact that like it went through such a rigorous filming from everybody, including the director and actors that were involved with it and the production. It wasn't the best of experiences for everybody, but they got through it, and for me, I actually like it. I really do. I really do like it. But like I say, for some people, it just isn't. It just doesn't hit the buttons for some people like it used to back in the late '70s, going on through to the 2000s. You know, it's just one of those things, really. Keeping up with the times is quite difficult for cinema when it comes to classic films like this. Next up, we have quite a recent film. For, from this year, I believe. Should be from this year. You'll have to excuse my frog in the throat. I've done quite a bit of yapping. What is it? Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Elvis. Elvis has left the building. That was the worst. That was just the worst. Moving on. Live, die, repeat. Live, die, repeat. Live, die, repeat. Edge of Tomorrow with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. This is an awesome film. This, like I've already said it before in the video that we did the A's and the B's. I'm not a big Tom Cruise fan, but this is brilliant. I really, really enjoyed this. Next, we have Everest in 3D. This is a really interesting one. It's just basically it is what it basically says. It's a film about an expedition that goes horribly wrong, and it's based on a trust, and it's based on a real life event as well that happened. Very good film. Not the kind of film that I can watch multiple times, as I've said before about some others. I need to be in a certain mind space for a film quite like it. Now I'm just going to do these two together. We have The Equalizer movies with Denzel Washington. Now I love the first one. I love the first one. The second one is as good, maybe not quite as good, if that makes sense. It's okay, and I will be going to see the new one if it is still showing somewhere at the cinemas by the time I get to it. Escape from New York. No, I'm going to do the same again because I've got another one at the bottom of the pile here. Might as well talk about them both. Soon as I've done two together. So we have First Blood and First Blood Part 2. Love the Rambo films. These two in particular always stand out above the rest. There's not much I can really say about them. The first film is basically Rambo, who has just come back from his stint in Vietnam, and he gets tormented by the police, to the point where he loses it and tries to tell them to back off, and they don't, because they just want to be dicks, basically. And the second one is where he's been sent back into the front line. Yeah, both really good films. Really, really worth watching. Sorry. Next up, we have comedy classic in Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker. Take the sticker off. Didn't think to look for the stickers. I took them off in the last video before I did the last video. I took them off. Right, Forbidden Planet with Leslie Nielsen and Walter Pidgeon. The Fighter, another great film, another biopic about the professional boxer Irish Mickey Ward, starring Matt Wahlberg and Christian Bale. I remember watching that. When did I watch that? It's quite an old film. Was this 2011? 2010, goodness me. Wow. Fright Night, the original. Again, take the sticker off. Didn't see it there before. Oh, there we go. Set that one off. I'll deal with the other one at a later date. So yeah, Fright Night with Chris Sarandon. Excellent film. This probably one of the best King adaptations. This one. Next we have Fargo from the Coen brothers with Frances McDormand, William H. Macy and Steve Buscemi, and Peter Stormare. Barbara Hershey in The Entity. Very, very good film. I was actually really surprised how good this film is. Quite quite the experience as well, actually. Barbara Hershey being tormented by a poltergeist. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Enemy of the State, Will Smith and Jane Hackman. Very awesome, cracking film. This really quite. It didn't quite get the rep that it deserved back in the day when it came out. I really enjoy it. Next, we have the awesome Fight Club with Ed Norton and Brad Pitt. Putting these two together in a film was just like lightning in a bottle. It really was. Oh no. Yeah. Oh well. Looks like I'll have to get some solution on that one. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein from Kenneth Branagh with Robert De Niro, Kenneth Branagh, and Helena Bonham Carter. I actually went to the cinema to see that when it came out, and I actually really enjoyed it. The Fugitive with Harrison Ford. No words can say how good this film is. If you haven't seen this, guys, please check it out. It's absolutely awesome. Great film. Oh yeah, and by the way, we're into the Fs. And now we're going into the G's with Gangster Number One. never even realised that we'd switched up. Gangster Number One. This was one of the very first films that I showcased when I started the channel. And guess what? It's been I've seen it, but I've not watched it since I bought it. And that was in I think I put my first video out in end of November 2017 or the start of December, I think, in 2017. So it's been that long. Jesus Christ. The Green Book with Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali. This is a brilliant film. I mean, give it. It's an Oscar season movie. I do actually enjoy this film. I like films like I enjoy watching films like this because it kind of breaks the mold on the genres that I do prefer on a whole, which is more science fiction based, as you've probably already gathered from half of the stuff that I've actually had showcase throughout this series so far. Oh, put that in the right pile. Next we have Grosse Pointe Blank with John Cusack and Minnie Driver. Also stars Jack Black, based on the novel from hang on, it is on here. Oh, come on. No, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of a different film. Yeah, I was wondering why it wasn't on here. Yeah, it's not what I was thinking, but it is. It is a. It is a good film. It is a good film. I've seen it. I've seen it a couple of times. God, I was thinking of High Fidelity for some reason. Gran Torino from Clint Eastwood, or starring Clint Eastwood. Uh, awesome, awesome. Love this film. Absolutely love it. Next we have Ghost Ship. One of my favorite ghost story movies. This, and has probably one of the best introductions to a horror film ever. Um, and then it does kind of get a little bit all over the place in places throughout the film. Um, it it does things that are kind of weird, but this is an enjoyable ghost story nonetheless. And it doesn't really have many people in this that you would recognise apart from Gabriel Byrne. Really, the rest of the cast aren't really that recognisable at all. To be honest with you, at least I didn't recognise many of them. I'm sure there'll be a few out there that will, though. I'm absolutely sure of it. Next up, we have Gremlins. Now, I have got a review on this up on the channel. Back when I had my original channel name of Trek Flicks. If you want to go out and check that out, you can. I adore this film. It's one of my all-time favourite creature feature films. So yeah, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Next, we have one of Robin Williams' best in Good Morning Vietnam. Love this film. It is so, so, so freaking good. Galaxy Quest, a spoof on the Star Trek franchise. Well, not a spoof, but in its in its own world, it is a parody of the Star Trek franchise, and a very good one at that. Sigourney Weaver, Tim Allen, Sam Rockwell, um, Martin Short, and Tim Allen are in the cast of this, and it's great. It's brilliant. It really is. Next, we have Get Out from Jordan Peele. I was really surprised how good this film was. I was so surprised. This is such a good film. Now, I know there's some of you out there that will think, Jesus Christ, what are you doing? But it's a creature feature, and I can't say no to it. The 1998 Godzilla from Roland himself. Yeah. I know there's people out there that do enjoy this film, but if there's one thing that you cannot get out of your head, it is this has got some of the worst acting in it that I have ever seen in my life, especially from Matthew Broderick. I was so surprised how bad the acting is in this. The only person that does have a good part in it is Harry Shearer. The only one. The only one who has a decent who does pretty good with a character. The rest of them are terrible. They're just terrible. But the visuals are good. I kind of liked Godzilla's design, but it's just the acting really lets that film down a lot, and I mean a lot. So you're probably wondering why we're here right now. Yeah, I am just playing back the recording that I've done while I'm editing it, and I kind of came across a little glitch in my matrix where I kind of didn't mention a certain somebody from the 1998 Godzilla, which is Jean Reno. Now, John Reno is a really good actor, and he probably, like, out of all of the cast members that was in that movie, he was probably the only other person apart from Harry Shearer that really did make an effort in putting in a reasonable-ish performance. So yeah, there's also that. Next up, we have Graduation Day from another 88 films movie. Now, I don't believe I've seen this one yet, so I'm kind of looking forward to watching it. Sorry, sorry about that. I've not long had my main meal of the day. The Game with Michael Douglas and Deborah Kara Unger. James, nope, Sean Penn, actually. Very interesting film. This I remember I actually do remember seeing this at the cinemas vividly. Seeing this at the cinemas, and I walked out thinking it was the biggest pile of trollop I'd ever seen. Um, but over the years, I have actually somewhat come to. It's actually grown on me over the years, and I do actually highly regard it as a very good thriller, and with it being from David Fincher as well, I was actually quite surprised because back in the day when I was watching films when I was a kid and as a teenager, I wasn't kind of into the whole director and behind the scenes sort of stuff. That didn't come until I started working here at the hotel. Um, when I had the spare time to look into things and watching special editions with all of the features and that. I think the first one I did was The Mummy or something like that, where I watched all the feature stuff. I thought, this is great. I want more of this. I want more. So yeah, so I did that with this, and I found out a lot more. There was a lot more to this film than what I initially thought, and when I went back to watch it again, I actually really enjoyed it. And it's just that paranoia of what's going on around you that kind of keeps you on your toes in the film. I won't tell you much about it because obviously the clue behind the story is in the title, which is the game. Next up, we have Gold with Matthew McConaughey. Another very bad impression there. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't believe I've actually watched this one yet either, to be honest. So keep an eye out. Next, we have Goosebumps, the original movie starring Jack Black, based on the American kids TV series from and the books from R.L. Stein. I really enjoyed this film. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Now I have actually seen it. I did watch some of the shows, some of the episodes when it was showing on in the UK. I think it was the BBC that had them, and they were really good. They were good stories. You know, some of them were really quite creepy. So when I heard that they were doing the film of it, I was like, "Oh, that's going to be good. That's going to be good." But I never got around to seeing it at the cinemas. I had to get a copy of I didn't get a copy of it, but I ended up borrowing it off one of my friends who had it, and I loved it, and I thought I've got to go out and get that. Next up, we have The Girl Next Door, one of my favorite teen movies. Oh God, this film. Oh man, if there's one word that I could use to talk about this film, it will be blast. This film is an absolute blast from start to finish. It never lets up with, I wouldn't say gags or side gags. It's just a genuine. It's a genuinely funny teen movie. It does have its cringe moments here and there, but other than that, this is one of those films where by the end of it, it's you're just satisfied with the overall result because it's studied with really great. It's studied with really great ideas, especially, well, saying especially the idea of having Elijah Cuthbert as as an adult entertainer in the film, who his next door neighbour falls in love with, um, while he's still at school, and gets involved in the adult industry through her associate, somewhat, who's played by Timothy Oliphant, who, in my mind, is actually a really good actor. His range really shows in this film how good of an actor that he is. You can see that he loves playing like an antagonist, so to speak. But he's not an antagonist in this film because there aren't any real ones. It's just that it's all about a race to get for people to get what they want. There's not necessarily an antagonist of the film, although you could say, in a way, Timothy Oliphant's character is, but he's just out to do what he has to do to turn his career to forward his career, more or less. But it's such a good film, and it's really worth watching, guys. It really is. I have so much fun with this. It's kind of like a Deep Rising sort of situation. I could watch it and watch it and watch it and not get fed up of it. I'm sinking again. He looks like he's trying to tell me something. Get that sinking feeling that this ain't gonna work out. Yeah. Get this off. There's going to be loads. There's going to be loads with stickers on, and you'll see that they're pretty much the big majority of these are from CEX as well. So I've had a blast with these. I've had a blast with these guys. Spent more in store than I spent more out of my own money than I have in store credit. Oh, that's an itch. Right, so we're on to the last one, and I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. We're at the home stretch. Ghoulies. Now this is quite a recent film that I picked up in the last 6 months, and I've watched it, and this is a really good film. This was meant to be was it this or Critters? One of the two, whether it be Critters or this one, was meant to be the first creature feature, including smaller creatures. Gremlins got there first, I think. Let me just check this, because this could have been 83. No, it was 85. This was meant to be out in 83 before Gremlins went into production, but it got shelved, and then they released it a couple of years later. I remember this because it was somebody mentioned it in one of the Blue Tubers from America actually talked about this film in grave detail, and said that like this was meant to come out before Gremlins. But yeah, I've watched this, and it's awesome. It's awesome. It's a lot different to Gremlins. It's a little bit darker in tone, but it's an enjoyable film. And like I say, I don't really want to go into it too much because I don't really want to spoil the fun for you guys if you decide to go into it and watch it. So yeah. that is ghoulies, and that brings me to the end of the video. And not bad, not too bad considering that was more than what I would normally do. Um, so thank you so much everyone for watching. Really, really do appreciate it. Um, if you did like the video, give it a like. Comment down below on any of the stuff that I've showcased in this. Talk between yourselves. Do what you want. You know, you don't have to if you don't want to. That's also fine. You can also subscribe as well if you like. If you want to keep on track. If you want to stay up to date with this series. Um, yeah, I'm loving doing this. It's absolutely great. Talking about my films is something that I really enjoy. I really enjoy doing. You know, I am somewhat getting back into the bug of this, as you can obviously tell, because there's a few of these coming out. I'm quite intent on getting this out. Not gonna say go as far to say getting it over and done with to finish what I'm doing and then leave it for another year to release another video. It's kind of given me the way that I'm doing this. It's kind of given me the leeway that I need to sort of so that I can prioritize other things as well as YouTube. What I have been doing is I've been kind of pre-recording this and releasing them as and when I want. So by the time this has been uploaded onto the channel, I'll have done a couple more by then. But anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you did, give it a like, give it some, give it some love. Comment down below, talk between yourselves, or if you want, discuss with me what your favourite films are out of all of this that I've shown you in the video. And yeah, so as always, it's a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.